Hello, this is Gary Marr from Leonard Community College. This screencast is for my SAS 133DA students, and in this screencast, I want to talk about submitting files to the student server. So far, the exercises you've done in the book, and even the videos that I've prepared for you based on the PowerPoints and examples that are given with the textbook, I have run all of the HTML and CSS files locally from the file system on my PC at home. This is the way that you'll develop all of the assignments when you start from scratch. But at some point, when the assignment is completed and you've checked everything out and the links work and the images are correct and the page looks wonderful based on the back of the chapter textbook, you need to submit this to Canvas. Now, the problem with submitting HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, there's a few others, files to Canvas is that Canvas is actually a web application also. So when you start mixing HTML with Canvas's HTML and Canvas's CSS and Canvas's JavaScript, you can get some unpredictable results. It's fine for, programming classes in C# or English papers or even math assignments, but it has a problem sometimes with web assignments. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload your assignment to the student web server. Now, the nice thing about this is you'll actually see your pages running over the internet, and next you can tell your friend or family, hey, you can run my web page over the internet. All you have to give them is the student server and the URL of your web page, which I'll show you in a few minutes. The nice thing about this approach is the only thing you have to give me is the web link. I can go to your page and I can open up with ViewSource, I can grade everything, and then I can go back to Canvas and give you a rubric that shows you what you got for that assignment. The other nice thing is this is how web pages are developed. Typically, they're done locally until all the bugs are taken out. But we want to put that web page in production. We have to put it in a web server, a hosting service. GoDaddy, 1&1, there's a bunch of them. Renting space on a web server is part of delivering your page to the rest of the world. If we just work on what the book has given us locally in our PC, we can see it, but nobody else can. And because Canvas doesn't play nice with these files, I need to be able to see it from the World Wide Web also. So I'm going to take you through and talk a little bit about some techie stuff with web servers and FTP, show you how to upload these files, and how you're going to give me the assignment information in Canvas, and also some resources that I've also got prepared on Canvas to help you with this process. So let's start there. If you go into Canvas and view all pages, you're going to find there's a page there called Class Resources. In Class Resources, I have a new section called FTP, Uploading Assignments. You'll want to download a product called FileZilla. This is a Windows program. If you've got an Apple or a Linux system, send me an email. I'll give you something different. FileZilla is what the school encourages everyone to use. It's a free program for educational purposes. It's easy to use. It's well supported. The school actually has two websites that show information about installing it and also setting up to access your H drive and your S drive. Everybody has an S drive and an H drive. The S drive is a shared drive. It's one you share with me. You have read access and I have read write. That's when we can share files. We're not really doing much with this class, but if it was an in-person class, we'd probably do more. Now the H drive is your file, your folder, or drive, drive, and only your drive. You're the only person that can see it. I can't see it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put your files from your local PC in the H drive, but specifically in a special folder called public.www that everyone has. If it's in there, we can set it up to be viewable over the internet, and that way I can grade it, you can look at it now or forever. Okay, it's on a student server. That public.www folder is linked magically to an internet server, so it makes it different than all the rest of the other folders that exist on the H drive. Okay, so let's go to FTP first. Now I currently have a connection. Let's see if I could just break this connection quickly. If not, we'll just redo it. But let's see, is this okay? Now it's disconnected. Most FTP programs are set up the same basic design. On the left side, I have my local PC. I'm on the D drive now. There's the folders in the D drive. If I click on one of the folders, it expands it down below here, shows me all the file in that folder. On the right side, which is currently empty, is the machine that I'm connecting to, in this case, the student server. Okay? There's two ways I can connect, and the connection information, by the way, is in those sheets I just showed you in the resource page, but you'll also be able to see them now because yours is going to be similar to mine. I can do a quick connect where I put myfiles.gccaz.edu. Your username is your MEID, your password is your password for MEID, or probably the more desirable approach is to use Site Manager, which I've got one here for H and for S. I'm going to do H, where I specify the host, and that's the same as this prompt over here. We're going to use the FTP protocol. We're going to make sure there's different options here, but we want to use that one there, require implicit FTP over TLS. This makes the connection encrypted, okay, so it's secure. Ask for password, and then put your MEID in the user box. On the advanced page, since when you connect to this server, it's going to come into the home and show all the MEIDs of all the other students. It could take a while to wade through that, so you can quickly put a default remote directory, and I would put /home/ your MEID, whatever that is. Mine showed there. If you hit the connect button, okay, you'll see some action up here as it connects, and you'll also see a bunch of folders that'll appear. These should be the same ones that are on your H drive now. Now keep in mind, I've been there 20 years, so I've accumulated a lot of junk and a lot of folders, but I also have a public.www. So if I double click it here, it opens the folder up. Now these two windows kind of work in tandem with each other, a lot like Windows Explorer does. Okay. On the left side again is my local PC. All right. And if I want to upload from my PC, I will drag the file from left to right. If I want to download, I will go from right to left. Okay. Now, what everybody should do is create a folder called CIS-133DA. I'm going to go in that, and I'll try to create some other folders here in a second. I've already created folders for Unit A, B, and C. You'll have to create folders for A through M. The way you create a folder on a remote server is right-click in the lower right panel, say create directory, and then type in the name of the directory. So I'm going to create unit, what am I on, D here, I guess, and hit enter, and it will create a folder called Unit D. You'll have to create all the rest of the folders that you're going to use for this class. Okay. Now, this side over here is my local PC. This is, what I'm going to do here, I guess, is simply take something. Let's do the independent challenge from whatever chapter, Unit A. It's got one file, and what I want to do is I want to copy it into Unit C. So let's go over to Unit C. Okay. There's no files in there currently, and I'm going to drag it from here to here. The bottom panel here shows the progress of your download or upload, which was really fast, so it's already done. But you can see now that there's a file over here with 504 bytes of information that's identical to this one. So that's how you would upload a file. If I wanted to download a file, I would drag it in the opposite direction. Okay. One other thing that could happen the very first time you connect to the H drive, you may see a very large gray screen that talks about trust and do you want to trust this site, connect to it every time. That's the encryption kicking in, and you want to say yes. You'll have to do it once, and this is why it didn't show up on mine, because I've been here several times today alone, but you should see it once. Once you've uploaded the file and folders, okay, I could also pick one here. I'm not sure I can find it, but if this had a directory called images, which is also very common with most websites and also this book, images might be where all my graphics are. If I want to drag this up to the student server, I simply just drag this across, and there it is. One of the problems with Canvas is that you cannot upload subfolders like images. So what's going to happen here very shortly is you're going to have a project in Canvas as part of an assignment, or project as part of this class's assignment that has a folder in it. There's no mechanism for dragging that folder up to Canvas. So that's going to be a problem. So that's another reason why we use the student server. So what I've done now is I worked in my program, my assignment at home. I felt it was all done. I've uploaded it to the student server. I can see that it's under public.ww, CIS-133DA Unit C. Now I want to make sure I can access that file. So I'm going to go to the internet, and let's see, I think I've got this already up here someplace. Maybe I don't. Yes. On this page here, I've already keyed in the URL necessary to get at this web page. Now this is a little bit funky. It's not easy to remember, so just take some notes, put this on pause if necessary. The name of the student server is web.gccaz.edu. Notice it's not www, it's the word web. Then a slash. The next part of the path here is a tilde, which is the shifted top left key in the keyboard in your MEID. That points to the public.www folder. Now what appears after that slash will be what's inside public.www. So remember, I created a folder called CS133DA. I created another folder, well actually I'm going to show you the one from Unit A. I created one called Unit C, this one's from Unit A. And inside Unit A is an HTML file called index. This is typically the name of the start page, and from this it'll connect to the CSS file that you've got in your HTML, and then we'll also have links to other HTMLs, which will also be in the student directory if you need to access them. Once that information is supplied, hit enter, you will see your HTML appear on the screen in all of its glory. What you do next is simply take, if it looks okay, you simply take that link and copy it. And now let's go back to Canvas. Let's go into the assignments. And I believe that I haven't submitted anything for assignment. See, this is all just test data for me. Let me go into Unit C assignment. Let me submit the assignment. And I'm going to give you guys three options. Well, actually, there's really only two options. There's going to be text entry. You can place the URL there, or you can go into website URL, simply place the URL of what we're going to be using as your assignment, and click on Submit Assignment, and you are done. Okay. The nice thing about this now is I can go in there and I can reference your link from Canvas, open up your files, make sure your assignments are all correct. You can actually test it on a real-life internet server, but it is a little bit more complicated. Keep in mind the way that internet technology works is it's tiered. On your client system, whether it be Windows, Apple, Linux, you have a browser. That is your client software necessary to access files on another computer. The other computer needs to be a server. It needs to be running the internet server software to use the World Wide Web and HTTP and HTML and all the other good stuff we're using in class. That's what that student server is. So that URL that I supply will now take me directly to a real internet server so I can test out your software. Now, kind of complicated, and I wish it was easier, but Canvas doesn't yet let us support submitting of subfolders, and it also, since it's really an internet program using some of the same technology we are, it has some problems. Maybe someday it'll work, but right now it's got some limitations. This is how we're going to get around those limitations. Thank you.